anniversary of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mukherjee, an Indian statesman, educationist, visionary patriot, one of the founding fathers of the Indian Republic, Federal Minister of Industry and Supplies in independent India's first ministry, and President of the Society of India, member of India's first parliament, and founder of the Bharatiya Jana Sangha. Dr. Mukherjee played a historic role in forging and reinforcing a deeper civilizational friendship between India and Myanmar in present times. As president of the Mahabodhi Society of India, Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee was instrumental in ensuring that India took a portion of the sacred relics of Buddha's chief disciples, Arahants Mahamoggallana and Sariputta, to the people of Myanmar for permanent enshrinement. He deftly negotiated and led the entire effort and saw to it that the government of India offered a portion of the sacred relics to the people of Myanmar in a fraternal act, which, in the words of the then Prime Minister UNU, further cement the already very close and unique relationship between our two sister countries. On March 5th, 1952, when the sacred relics were finally enshrined at the iconic Kabae Pagoda, Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was specially invited. He had flown down from Kolkata to attend the enshrinement ceremony in this vast precinct. Remembering Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, we are linked with this webinar this evening, and we have with us as guest of honor Ms. Reena Baduri, an eminent academician, Secretary, Sir Ashutosh Institute, our keynote speaker, Professor Anantabandhu Chattopadhyay of the SS University Bolpur, and a senior fellow, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. We also have as a guest speaker Mr. Amal Abeyavardhane, the Secretary of the British Mahabodhi Society, United Kingdom. Presiding over this webinar, we have Dr. Mahendra Singh, President of the Mahabodhi Society of India. Commencing this webinar, I would like to invite Venerable R. Sumitananda Thero, the monk in charge of the Sarnath Center, Mahabodhi Society of India, to welcome all our members linked in this special webinar on the occasion of the 133rd birth anniversary of Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Bhante Venerable R. Sumitananda Thero.
Before Venerable Thero speaks, I would just give you an information that our third speaker, Mr. Amal from UK, is not joining because of some preoccupation. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerable Bhiksu Mahasangha and distinguished guests and all the participants and collaborators of this webinar organized on the occasion of 123rd birth anniversary of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. He was a great well-wisher of Mahabodhi Society of India and held the post of the president, and from 1942 to 1953, he was the cabinet minister of the first government of India after the independence under Sri Jawaharlal Nehru. He was a barrister and academician as well. His father, Sri Ashutosh Mukherjee, was the first Indian president of Mahabodhi Society of India from 1911 to 1924, when Anagarika Dhammapala was the general secretary. On this occasion, I would like to welcome on this webinar Professor Anath Bandhu Chattopadhyay of SS University Bolpur, and senior and fellow and ministry of the Culture, Government of India. We have among us Miss Reena Baduri, Secretary, and Sir Asutosh Memorial Institute. Also, let me welcome Mr. Amal Abhivardhana, Secretary, British Mahabodhi Society and UK, and Dr. Mahendra Singh Ji, and the President, Mahabodhi Society of India, Kiran Lamaji, and the members of the office bearers of the Mahabodhi Society, and all the participants of this webinar. I welcome you all with folded hand. As I mentioned before, today is the memorable day for the Mahabodhi Society of India as we commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. Our distinguished guest will speak in the detail about the life and services of Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. Before I conclude, let me once again extend my sincere welcome to you all. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
I would now like to invite our guest of honor, Ms. Reena Baduri, to speak on this occasion.
Sir, good afternoon. My name is Kaushik Bhaduri. I'm actually my mother. Reena is supposed to speak in this forum. She's an older person. She's taking a few extra minutes to come to the table. If we could either wait or switch the rotation of the speakers, that I just a request.
But we will proceed with the keynote address.
Thank you.
Invite our keynote speaker, Professor Anathabandhu Chattopadhyay from the University Bolpur.
Okay. Today marks the 123rd birthday of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. I am deeply honored to be chosen by the Mahabodhi Society of India to speak at this special webinar. My heartfelt thanks go out to the Honorable President, Dr. Mahendra Singh Sir, President Dr. Kailash Prasad Sir, respected monk in church, Sarnath Center, Bhen Ananda Khero, and Treasurer Sri Kiran Lama, Honorable Guest of Speaker, Mr. Amal Abhivardhana, and respected guest of honor, Professor Dr. Reena Baduri, and Mr. Ranadhish Chaudhary, officer on special duty of this organization, and all distinguished members, honorable audience. So far, I have authored 7 books on Shyamaprasad and notable figures in his family. My inspiration to write about this illustrious family of Bengal came from Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, a renowned Himalayan traveler and Shyamaprasad's younger brother, who was just 14 months his junior. I had the privilege of meeting Shyamaprasad Mookherjee at their ancestral home, Ganga Prasad House, in Madhupur, now at Jharkhand, previously Bihar, and in Bhawanipur, Kolkata. The Ganga Prasad House was built by Sir Ashutosh in 1912. He named it in honor of his father, Dr. Ganga Prasad Mookherjee. Shyamaprasad was born in 1901, and he spent his almost entire life visiting this home. My first encounter with Shyamaprasad took place in this very house. Shyamaprasad was a householder monk or a grihi sannyasi, balancing his spiritual pursuit with family life. I spent 20 years with him, both at Ganga Prasad House and in the Himalayas. The walls of their home are adorned with pictures of Sir Ashutosh and Shyamaprasad and often shared vivid memories of historical moments involving them. Although I never had the chance to meet Shyamaprasad, I was fortunate enough to spend many years in the company of Umaprasad. Reflecting on those days, I will focus on Shyamaprasad's life, particularly his contribution as an educationist. Shyamaprasad, second son of Sir Ashutosh Mookherjee and Jogomaya Devi, was born in Kolkata at 77 Rasha Road, at present Ashutosh Mookherjee Road, on July 6, 1901. He had a distinguished academic career. In 1921, he took BA honors in English, standing first class first. In 1923, he took the MA from Calcutta University in Indian vernaculars, standing first class first. In 1924, he completed BL from Calcutta University Law College and occupied first class first. In 1926, he left for England, where he joined Lincoln's Inn. In 1927, he was called to the bar. On return from England, he joined the High Court bar, but he devoted himself to educational and political activities and never took legal work seriously. His capacity for hard work, interest in details, debating skill, and oratorical gift, capacity to impress people, and distinctive personality would surely have carried him to the top of the legal profession and brought him affluence. Ashutosh found in Shyamaprasad some qualities of mind and character, which he thought would make him a good educationist. In a letter to Pat Lovett, editor of Capital, dated 23rd July 1923, he wrote about his young son, quote, "He has the making of a man and him," unquote. It was not a fond of further affectionate estimate of a beloved son. As later events proved, it was a wise man's correct assessment of a promising youth. Even when Shyamaprasad was a student, Ashutosh talked with him about university affairs. Soon after taking his BL degree, he was elected fellow member of the Senate of the university. Soon afterwards, Sir Ashutosh died, and Shyamaprasad was elected member of the syndicate to fill the vacancy caused by his death. Thus, the father's mantle fell upon the son. Shyamaprasad was very closely connected with the Calcutta University from his election to the Senate and syndicate in 1924 to his migration to New Delhi as a member of a Jawaharlal Nehru's first national cabinet in August 1947. After his resignation from the cabinet, April 1950, he found himself too deeply involved in political affairs to come back to the university. He served the university as vice chancellor for 2 successive terms, 1934 to 1938. In those days, the vice chancellors were appointed by the governors, Sir John Anderson. Even when he left that high office, he continued to serve his alma mater in various capacities till 1947. During the period 1938 to 47, the university had 4 vice chancellors, but Shyamaprasad was the guiding voice. He represented continuity and moderation during a period of war, famine, communal riots, and political strife. It was customary for honorary vice chancellor to spend an hour or two on weekdays in the university. Every morning, including Sundays, he saw numerous visitors in his house. Before his involvement in politics, most of them are teachers, students, guardians, and persons connected with the management of educational institutions. His doors were open. Everybody was welcome, and there was no formality such as sending slips, stating name and purpose. He never forget a face, and generally he remembered the purpose for which a visitor had once seen him. He gave a question sharing to everybody and gave a sympathetic reply in a few lines. The middle of the day was spent in the university where he worked for several hours. In the evening, he sometimes received visitors and talked about or worked on university affairs. As a part-time honorary vice chancellor, he worked much harder than his latter whole-time paid successors. Shyamaprasad's work was not as spectacular as his father's, but he was able to conserve what Sir Ashutosh had done. His terms of vice chancellorship was much shorter than his father. He had to work in a climate which was far less congenial than it had been in his father's time. Political storm disturbed peaceful academic work in the university than the British rulers had been in the day of Sir Ashutosh. It was never failing devotion to the great temple of learning, an ardent spirit of service, and fearless industry which enabled him to pilot the ship along the right track. Shyamaprasad continued the unfinished agenda of his father and strove to modify the university in accordance with the ethos of the region, nation, and human values. His efforts should by no means be regarded as accidental or isolated instances of university programs. They form components of a well-considered plan of future reorganization of education in India. In this period, Bengal was leading the national education movement. Thinkers like Sri Aurobindo, Acharya Satish Chandra Mukherjee, Bipin Chandra Pal, Subodh Chandra Mallik, with Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore are product of the colonial education system, but they critique the system from outside for its un-Indian character that led to the subjugation of spirit and culture. While many Indian thinkers brought out the deficiencies of the colonial education from outside, Shyamaprasad did so from within the system during his tenure as Vice Chancellor of the University of Calcutta, and tried to reform the system by bringing about change in perception regarding mother tongue as the medium of instruction, India's intellectual and cultural heritage, science and technology education, women education, adult education, employment and research, among others. He contributed the rich legacy of his father in different fields of higher education and invited Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore to deliver the convocation address in Bangla, which was unprecedented in the history of the university. Shyamaprasad's concern for education were integral to his yearning for India's independence. For him, freedom was indispensable for education, which was the means of social advancement leading to the attainment of its pristine glory and freeing India from the colonial yoke. That is the reason why his educational vision is inseparable from his national vision, and his concern were attended by a historical sense through which he saw the present India. Shyamaprasad never forget to remind his audience that the Indian ideal is harmony and not discord, freedom and not slavery, not warring factions, castes, and communities, each distrustful of the other. A united India marching resolutely towards the goal of self-realization. His India included all, as he remarked, quote, may we not regard ourselves as her sons and daughters, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, and Christian, all loyal to our flag, but all equally determined to find for our great country as honorable place as Commonwealth of Nations, to restore it to its position of glory and freedom. To Shyamaprasad, educational institutions were not as factories for the production of clerks and subordinate officers. Their task was to supply the country with the leadership and skill in different branches of activity: economic, commercial, and industrial, municipal, provincial, and national. Such men and women were to be animated with the ideals of service, imagination, courage, Catholicity of outlook, and resilience of nature. He saw them as the living organs of national reconstruction. It was the task of the university to discover the best means of blending together both the spiritual and the material aspect of life. It must equip the alumni, irrespective of caste, creed, or sex, with individual fitness, not for its own sake, not merely for adorning varied occupations and professions, but in order to teach them how to merge their individuality in the common cause of advancing the progress and prosperity of their motherland and upholding the highest tradition of human civilization. It is necessary to maintain here that he dwelt at length on the place to be given to religious education in the system. Religion, according to him, played a dual role in the evolution of mankind and has done enormous good to humanity, but had been utilized as a convenient excuse for senseless oppression of mankind. Shyamaprasad recognized religion as a reality in India and hoped that religious education would lead to greater understanding of their religions. Like Swami Vivekananda, Shyamaprasad underscored the importance of the role of youth in India's future. For the task of national reconstruction, he pinned his hopes on a race of Indian youths, proud of their culture and tradition, armed with Western skills and knowledge, fearless and straightforward, determined to work and stand united under a common banner of progress and service. Shyamaprasad had witnessed the colonial system of education from closest quarter and served it in highest capacity, seeing it in the perspective of Indian tradition of education. He could see its adverse impact on the Indian system and culture. He had seen the British model inside out. He had the ideal model of Gurukul system and Takshila, Bikramshila, and Nalanda University before him, and also experiment that were made in different part of India. Since he was convinced that in a vast country like India, uniformity and higher education is neither desirable nor feasible. So he thought of model like Benares Hindi University, Gurukul, Kangri, Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Vishwabharati, Shanti Niketan, and the proposed Sri Aurobindo University, Pondicherry. Shyamaprasad found that education in this country can be organized by a correct synthesis between the fundamental aspect of Indian civilization and the true requirement of a scientific age. Shyamaprasad's eminence as an educationist was appreciated by different cultural organizations, and his services are called for by them. He was a member of Court and Council of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He was chairman of the Inter-University Board. In 1938, he was nominated to the Committee of Intellectual Cooperation of the League of Nations as India's representative. He was president of the Royal Asiatic Society of Bengal, India's oldest institution for promotion of learning during the year 1943 to 1945. In 1947, he became president of the Mohabodhi Society. In January 1949, the relics of Sariputta and Mughal, disciples of Lord Buddha, were handed over to him by Jawaharlal Nehru. In November 1952, he joined the celebration at Shachi, where these relics are placed. In 1952, one of Shyamaprasad's companions on his Indo-China journey was his younger brother, Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. I have heard the description of the journey from him. It was 1952. One day, Shyamaprasad asked Shyamaprasad, will you go with us to Indo-China, to Cambodia? The reason for his journey was that he was then the president of Mohabodhi Society in India. The relics, sacred bones of Buddha's two chief disciples, Sariputta and Mughal, were preserved in a museum in England. A while ago, the British government returned those relics to the Mohabodhi Society of India. The Cambodians are followers of Buddhism. Therefore, on behalf of the government there, Prince Norodom Sihanouk eagerly requested that the Cambodians who are eager to see those relics would be blessed if a delegation from Mohabodhi Society could bring them there for a few days. He would send a plane for their travel to and from India. After a brief stop in Cambodia, the plane went to Phnom Penh. It was a small plane. As it did not fly too high in the sky, the beauty of the world below could be seen. It seemed like our Bengal, equally lush and green, with rivers and expensive fields. Among these are small villages and towns. Upon reaching Phnom Penh, through the glass window, Shyamaprasad saw, oh, below was truly a sea of people, silent, peaceful, motionless. As far as the eye could see, there were only people kneeling with folded hands, faces turned towards the sky, watching the plane descend as if it was not a plane, but a deity descending from heaven in a chariot. As soon as the plane landed, the silent and peaceful crowd burst into excitement. Thousands of voices chanted in unison, Buddhang Sharanang Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanang Gacchami, Sangham Sharanang Gacchami. The sound echoed everywhere. Next came the time to see the relic. Visitors lined up in an orderly manner. Elderly people, young men and women, boys and girls, even babies in their mother's arms. The mothers probably believed that even if their children did not understand, they would still gain merit just by looking. The visitors knelt with folded hands in front of the relic, softly chanting prayers. They were amazed. People offered money, gold coins, new clothes, and silver or gold ornaments. What struck me was when people started taking off their own jewelry and offering it: earring, necklace, bracelets, rings, wristwatches, and even wallets with money. It was like they were giving their most precious possessions to someone they deeply loved. That sight is still unforgettable to me. Umaprasad's writing clearly shows the unique example of Shyamaprasad companionship and devotion to Lord Buddha. Shyamaprasad's life was short, but his great achievement made him memorable. I end my speech by paying my respect to the great soul. I express my deepest gratitude and heartfelt thanks to all those involved. Namo Buddhaya.
Sad. Is our corner ready? Yes. So I invite our guest of honor, Ms. Reena Bhaduri.
Oh, Sharon, Sharon, shall I start? Shall I start?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
কত করে দেখাচ্ছে তাদের? Today is 6th July, 123rd birth anniversary of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. Venerable monks, members of the Mohammedan Society of India, respected speakers, the guests in the audience, I'm really humbled by the honor shown to me to say a few words on this occasion. I convey my sincerest thanks to the Mohammedan Society of India and pay my first and foremost respect to the Lord. And as the keynote speaker discussed about the background of Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, like his life history, his education, his parentage, and all that. I'm not going to go into detail into those things again, with the fear of repetition. Most of you know these things. I would like to go to a certain aspect of Dr. Mookherjee, which is lesser known to the people. He says in his diary, he writes in his diary that he was a student of English literature from Presidency College in English honors. He got first class grades. After that, of course, he decided to study English in MA class in the university. But when he went to see his father to say that I would like to study English literature, language and literature in the university, his father said that this is the first year when I have a separate Bengali department for studying in India. If you don't study Bengali literature for the first time in the class, then people will say, oh, you studied English literature in Presidency College, and other people still will come and study Bengali in English. That was big price. He studied Bengali. So he studied Bengali in the class, and he was first in too. But he was genuinely interested in arts, in literature, in languages. If you read his writings, essays, and his speeches, you see that he used both the languages in an excellent way. He had full control of it. And he submitted a thesis in which was on the plays of Beast and the Goat, who was a very famous drama personality in Bengal, and also a writer. So in this background, this particular emphasis towards literature and language is special interest in language and literature is always there. When he grew up and became he got the legacy of the father too. He fought very much for the study of Bengali in all classes in the university. As the keynote speaker said, that when he asked him if he speak in Bengali, he not asked him that I would like to speak in Bengali. He never gave conversation address to him. But Shyamaprasad decided to ask him to give him conversation address in 1937. First time he was not in India, second time he came and gave the conversation. 17th February 1937. He gave the conversation address in Bengali. Because the Bengali was translated into English for the audience, for the luminaries who were there, especially the government officials, to know what he was saying. Now, we see that in Sir Ashutosh's house, when Ashutosh was still judge of the High Court, Shyamaprasad, Mahaprasad, and Mahaprasad, all the three brothers, decided to publish a journal, a Bengali journal, which was called Bangobani. And Shyamaprasad was in charge of collecting materials for the numbers. They decided to go to Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay. Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay was a famous novelist. He was at the top of his creativity. He came back from Burma before that. And in his house, in Divanandapuri, Delhi, all the three brothers visited to bring writings, essays, novels for the Bangobani. And when Sharat Chandra was not there in the room, Shyamaprasad found the manuscript on his table, which was called Potted Dhamma. This was, I mean, Sharat Chandra wrote this and did not publish, could not find the publisher, because this would have been declared a banned book and book on sedition by the British government. But somehow, at the request of the brothers, Sharat Chandra gave this manuscript to Mahaprasad. And in Bengali, this was serialized for many months. And after it stopped completely, it was declared banned by the British government. But Shyamaprasad fortunately had the courage to bring that over and publish it in his The India Journal. Many of the secretaries Rabindranath Tagore wrote a lot of things, a lot of poems, essays. Rabindranath Tagore gave his paintings, sketches, drawings to Bhagwan. Recently, in 2011, I wrote a document, actually it's a documentation. The name of the book is, this was the occasion of the Rabindranath's 150 years. I wrote a book on, this book's name is Samudra Himadri Mahasangam. Thakurbadi Ashish Purivar Sangam. The connection between Thakurbadi and Ashish Purivar, the family of Ashish. And I have given 39 letters by Shyamaprasad, correspondence between Shyamaprasad and Ashish. It's a kind of documentation, you see, and in detail of how Ashutosh and Rabindranath interacted between themselves for the benefit of Chandra people. And also, in spite of having great reservation about the British kind of colonial education, Rabindranath did join Association Shyamaprasad in the progressive type of university. So this part has been recently worked out a lot. And another thing I would say that I found out, our keynote speaker told me about Cambodia music. Buddhist study, Buddhism has always been a very deep-rooted interest and genuine importance in our family history. Ashutosh was president for our life of Buddhist Society of India. And the Bauta Dharmankusham, the Bengali Buddhist Association, was very closely connected with the family. Bauta Dharmankusham was created by the Buddhists of Bengal, particularly Buddhist Bengal, and the Chattogram side, on the Chattogram side. Their journal was published. There is a special number on Ashutosh. Jaganjit had a special number. And the Indian custody later on tried to establish the lack of knowledge and lack of information that many of the foreigners writes and also say that in the land where Buddha was born, the Lord was born and died, Buddhism is almost at the end. That is not true. That whole of Eastern India, the five sisters and all that, there are a large number of Buddhist population. And Buddhist culture is still there. Forms have changed, but Buddhism is there. And Buddhists are there. So there should be a separate census about Buddhism. It's not a supporter of Buddhism, it's not a devoted devotees of Buddhism, but Buddhism is practiced by these families. This has fallen to Chattogram, has fallen to Bangladesh. So it largely depends how it should be treated. But my father was Dr. Prabodhanath Banerjee, who was also Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University and Cabinet Minister. He was brought up in a big way in East Bengal, eastern part of Bengal, undivided Bengal. So Bollywood Research Society and Mujibur Mookherjee, both he worked with. I was also very close to Mujibur Mookherjee. Now this has a tradition, and this has been supported by many of the members of Shyamaprasad went to the Buddhist countries, visited the Buddhist places, and he saw it just now the speaker described it. I'm not going to repeat, but in many other things, we see a strong cultural interest and effort to make India internationalized, to make India Indian. I got shot on Chandra was there, Vinath was there, everyone supported Shah. And last but not the least, we see that that letter has been published. It's fascinating edition by us, by the institute, by our Association of Engineering University. Now, this is written by Nazrul, Haji Nazrul Islam, who was a great poet of Bengal, of India, actually. Later on, he was inducted as a national poet by the Bangladeshis. I'm not going to his Muslim identity because he himself did not believe it. He had selected Shyamaprasad saying that please help me. He was very sick, and his wife was very sick at that time, and he had no money. Doctors told him to take his wife for change of place. And Shyamaprasad had his family. He says if the better one line is there, and then I will ask Hyder. Last week he was minister at that point. And I would ask Hyder to make some arrangement for you immediately. For monthly arrangement. Actually, he made some financial arrangement for Nazrul Ali's family when he was residing in Modi, having some kind of treatment and change of life. Now, people say many things about Chapra's attitude towards the Muslims. It is such a misnomer that I don't discuss it in these days. I don't want to go to any kind of what we call the but he was in that way a very rich person. I was reading right after Shyamaprasad died. Vinod.
Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
साधु 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 बहुत बढ़िया बहुत बढ़िया
I would now invite Dr. Mahendra Singh, the President of the Mahabodhi Society of India, to please deliver the presidential address for the special webinar held on the occasion of the 133rd birth anniversary of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. Dr. Mahendra Singh ji is not online.
Mahendra Singh ji? I am online. Yes, start, sir. We are waiting for your. We are waiting for your speech. I am here. Okay. Sorry for interruption. Namo tassa bhagavato arhato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arhato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arhato samma sambuddhassa. First of all, on this most important occasion of 123rd birth anniversary of Dr. Honorable Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee ji, the Mahabodhi Society of India is conducting a webinar on his life and missions and all the facets of his life. So, first of all, I pray all the Buddhas from Gautam Buddha to Tanhankar Buddha to bestow blessings upon the Venerable Bhikkhu Sangh, our Venerable General Secretary P. Shivli Theroji, under whom leadership the MBSI is working these days. Thereafter, I pay my respect to Sumitananji, Vante Sumitananji, he who welcomed the distinguished guest today. And I also pay my highest regard to our distinguished guests. The speech of guest honor was delivered by Honorable Reena Bhaduriji, eminent academician, Secretary Sir Asutosh Mukherjee Institute, and as I have been told that Madam is granddaughter of Sir Asutosh Mukherjee. It is great and great occasion. She is with us today. Great pleasure for me, great pleasure for the whole Mahabodhi Society of India and the Buddhist diaspora all over the world. We have a member from that family who dedicated an important part of their life for the Mahabodhi Society of India. Secondly, I respect, I honor Professor Anant Bandhu Chattopadhyay, a senior fellow, Ministry of Culture, SS University, Bolpur, who delivered a very authentic and meaningful address detailing the all important dates and events regarding the short but meaningful life of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. The life must not be long, but it should be purposeful. And so, this is a great occasion today. And I also welcome all the attendees here, audience, Sri Kiran Lama ji, Sri Kailash Prasad ji, and our trustees, Mahapatra ji, Chaudhary ji, Deepak Chaudhary ji, our OSD administration, Ranadhesh Chaudhary ji, and all of us, all who are present here. First of all, I will not speak long, but first of all, I request with my folded hand, being the President of India, being the President of Mahabodhi Society of India, I feel proud today. I am feeling elated on this occasion because I am the third president in the line because I can say I am presidential successor. I am presidential successor of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee. Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee ji, who was the first president of Mahabodhi Society of India from 1911-1924, and thereafter Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee was our honorable president from 1942 to 53, consecutively for the 11 years, the long period. So, and he passed away in office as president of Mahabodhi Society of India, in detention in Jammu and Kashmir. That is a separate painful episode. So I feel myself fortunate to be in the line where such great honorable president were in the Mahabodhi Society of India, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, and thereafter the fourth president, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. His contribution to the Mahabodhi Society of India cannot be elaborated or spoken of in such a limited time. It needs long time, full day debate or 2-day debate. He was not the titular president, but a charismatic and practical president. As my previous speaker, Professor Anant Bandhu Chattopadhyay, narrated that he was the first lucky president to receive the holy relics of the two chief disciples of the Lord Buddha, Venerable Sariput and Venerable Mahamogglan, by the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India. And not only this, previously to this, his respected father, Honorable Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, also received the holy relics of the Lord Buddha, and he put the casket on his head and marched on foot, barefooted, to the Dharmarajika Vihar, where the relics of the Lord Buddha are enshrined. So, this family of the Mukherjees has a great impact and importance for the Mahabodhi Society of India. I want to say, just like there is a maxim or idiom, the birds of the same feather flock together. Likewise, Honorable Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar was also a benefactor of the Mahabodhi Society of India. He was very close to Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. Being a barrister, which is a similarity, they both were having good friendship and bonhomie. One incident I would like to share with all of you, that when Gandhiji was assassinated and Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee was very closely connected with the Hindu Mahasabha, and he had already established the Bharatiya Jan Sangh after his resignation from the Nehru cabinet. On the 30th January 1948, when there was a assassination of Gandhiji, thus some people which were not in good terms with us, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, tried to involve him in this heinous crime, and they tried to frame him also. Though he was not the least concerned, but in the politics, you know, there are some bad examples where the people settle their scores with their opposite friends. Then it happened on that time. Dr. Shyama, I am reading the some lines, which are mentioned in the book. B.R. Ambedkar, a chronology penned by Vijay Mankar, on the page of 337 to 338. Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, leader of Hindu Mahasabha, sought help from Baba Sahab to save his life from the violent mob which doubted his role in the assassination of Mr. Gandhi. Baba Sahab asked Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee to visit his residence at 26 Alipur Road, New Delhi, immediately for shelter. Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee rushed to the Baba Sahab's house and stayed there with Dr. Ambedkar, who was law minister in that time, a cabinet minister of the law department, till all allegations were cleared and the smoke of doubt was vanished. So now it is the great privilege of the Mahabodhi Society of India that such personalities like Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee and Baba Sahab, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, enriched the legacy of the Mahabodhi Society of India. Such was the golden era when Mahabodhi Society of India was at the peak of its pristine glory. which was founded the Bodhisattva, Venerable Anagarik Dharampal. So much has been said, my good friend Professor Anant Bandhu Chattopadhyay, date-wise, regarding the life of Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. But to my satisfaction, because as being a president of Mahabodhi Society of India, it will be a great disservice at my part if I don't mention not much but a little historic dates regarding our Honorable President, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee and Asutosh Mookherjee, Sir Asutosh Mookherjee. Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee was born on July 6, 1901 in Calcutta, in Bengal. His father was Asutosh Mookherjee, a well-respected advocate in Bengal, who became the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calcutta. And his mother was Lady Jogmaya Devi Mookherjee. Mookherjee obtained his degree from the University of Calcutta. He graduated in English, securing the first position in first class in 1921, and also did MA in 1923 and Bachelor of Law in 1924. He became a Fellow of the Senate in 1923. He enrolled as an advocate in Calcutta High Court in 1924 after his father's death. Subsequently, he left for England in 1926 to study in Lincoln's Inn and became a barrister in 1927. At the age of 33, he became the youngest Vice Chancellor of the University of Calcutta from 1934 to 1938, 2 consecutive terms. I think it is the first and last example that any person at the age of the 33 only must have been the Vice Chancellor of the University of the Calcutta, which was the great and prestigious university in India at that time. And his political journey, so far his political journey is concerned, he was elected as member of the Legislative Council of Bengal as Indian National Congress candidate representing the Calcutta University, but resigned next when the Congress decided to boycott the legislative subsequently. He emerged as the spokesperson for the Hindu and shortly joined the Hindu Mahasabha in 1944. He became the president, but he was not anti-Muslim, but a Hindu political leader who felt the need to counteract the communalist and separatist elements who were responsible for the partition of India. Thereafter, it is very important to mention here that though there were also at that time the opposition and the ruling party, but I feel pleasure to say at that time that the Jawaharlal Nehru was well aware that he has joined the Hindu Mahasabha in 1944. But keeping into view the highest ability and the need to nation building, Jawaharlal Nehru appointed him as the minister in the industry and supply. It was a great pleasure, not for Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, but for Pandit Nehru, because he needed the ablest team after the independence. So Nehru felt obliged when Dr. Shyamaprasad gave his consent to be inducted into the Union Cabinet. Likewise, this Dr. Ambedkar, a Dalit leader, economist, and a brilliant legal scholar, was a force to reckon with even before independence, and his debate with Gandhi and the oppression of the wage of the upliftment of the untouchables was intense. He was also invited to join the cabinet. And not only this, you all, my distinguished and scholars know, not only this, he was also appointed the chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee. There were also some persons who were not at good terms with the Congress. They were also taken into the cabinet. So I can say that Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, when he felt uneasiness in the cabinet, why? After the partition, you all know, there was a massacre, carnage, and bloodshed. The transfer of population was not smooth and peaceful. It has the stain of the blood till date in the memory of the ancestors of those who suffered. What must have not been imagined. So on the issue of the partition of India, and not only partition of India, what happened with the Hindu society, and I can say non-Muslims in the West Pakistan and the East Pakistan, he was shocked to the point. Though he was minister, but he was not hankering of the post. He became minister for the nation building, for the reconstruction, the economy, and the future of the India. But the partition and the aftermath of the partition was so horrible that he felt that if I continue in the cabinet, it will be a great disservice to my countrymen and to the nation. And the forthcoming generation will not forgive him. So he immediately decided and resigned from the cabinet on 6th April 1950. And just all of you know, thereafter he established the Bharatiya Janata Sangh, which is now the Bharatiya Janata Party. So another very painful episode, that is when the Kashmir was also annexed to the Union of India, and the annexation of the Kashmir was not as smooth as the annexation of other principalities in India. It was a little complicated. So, Shyamaprasad Mookherjee must have not went to the Kashmir, but there was a rule that whosoever will enter the territory of Jammu and Kashmir will have to seek a permit before entry. He said, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee said, when the Jammu and Kashmir is the part and parcel of the India, why such discrimination with the people outside Jammu and Kashmir to seek permit? On this issue, he volunteered that I will go there. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji escorted him till Pathankot, and he thereafter entered the territory. And though he was given assurance that he will be free to come, but thereafter he was arrested. And now the things got worse, and he was under house arrest on 11th May 1953. And I can summarize this painful episode with the word that he passed away in the detention on 23rd June 1953. It was some narration, and what could I read in the books? Not only books, but in a book. So, as I said earlier, the Mahabodhi Society, on this occasion, I request the Venerable Peaceably Thero and other office bearers as trustees, responsible persons, that because Mahabodhi Society of India is indebted beyond any redemption to the family, firstly Sir Ashutosh Mookherjee, thereafter Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. So, it is my heartiest wish the Mahabodhi Society should endeavor to bring forth a book on the life and contribution of the great, eminent barrister, politician, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee and Dr. Ashutosh Mookherjee as well. Because had there been no Sir Ashutosh Mookherjee, primarily, and Neel Kamal Mookherjee, our Bodhisattva, Dr. Anagarik Dharampal, must have not been able to found the Mahabodhi Society of India at Calcutta. It was totally impossible. So Mahabodhi Society, and I want to see in my term as president that this tribute and respect should be given to that great scholar. And society is also indebted that the duo, father and son, both enriched the Mahabodhi Society of India in the constructive manner, not as a titular head, but in the constructive manner, which is on record. So today, at this most important historical event, I feel happy and delighted, and I'm thankful and grateful to the distinguished guest who joined us today in this webinar, and give them my heartiest greetings for their constructive and elaborative speeches in the memory of the great person of the era, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. With these words, I pay my homage and sincerest bow of head. I bow my head in reverence to Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. I said Namo Buddhaya to all.
Now invite Dr. Kailash Prasad, our Vice President, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kiranji. Namo Buddhaya to everyone. Today, we are celebrating the 123rd birth anniversary of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, who have been the president of Mahabodhi Society of India. And the Mahabodhi Society of India owes too much to the family of Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. This family has contributed greatly to the Mahabodhi Society of India. And today we are very fortunate to have the family members of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. Sir Ashutosh Mookherjee was the first Indian president of Mahabodhi Society of India. Then for some time, Manmat Mookherjee was the president. Then Shyamaprasad Mookherjee became the president of Mahabodhi Society. And today we have the two relatives, that one granddaughter of Sir Ashutosh Mookherjee is with us, Dr. Reena Bahaduriji, and the Mahabodhi Society was a vice president of Mahabodhi Society was Justice Chittatosh Mookherjee. Chittatosh Mookherjee also belongs to the family of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. He was the nephew of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, and I think Reena Bahaduri is also the niece of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. So this family has contributed too much, extended their support, great support to the Mahabodhi Society of India. And all these members, Sir Ashutosh Mookherjee, Justice Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, Justice Chittatosh Mookherjee, and today we are having direct, or we can say first-hand information about the life details of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. A great scholar, Professor Anant Bandhu Chattopadhyay, who had been closely associated with the brother of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. He said that he got many informations, collected many informations from Uma Prasad Mookherjee, who was the younger brother of Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. So we are very fortunate today that we have been listening to the very close associates of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. They have been. So this is first-hand information, not only written in the books, but so we are very much grateful to them, all of them, and especially to the today's speaker, Professor Anant Bandhu Chattopadhyay and Mrs. Reena Bahaduri. They are holding very good high post also, Secretary of Saraswati Memorial Institute, and Dr. Nath Bandhu Chattopadhyay is the professor at SS University, Bolpur, and senior fellow at the Government of India, Ministry of Culture. So these scholars or speakers have spoken very good and given or enlightened us with their knowledge about Shyamaprasad Mookherjee ji, and we have been very much benefited with their knowledge. So we extend our gratitude to them. And lastly, Dr. Mahendra Singh ji, who is the present president of Mahabodhi Society, he also gave very good information that Shyamaprasad Mookherjee was in good contact, or they were in friendly relation with Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Bhimrao Ambedkar, and all these people have been, we can say that they have greatly contributed to the Buddhism in India, especially Baba Saheb is taken as the revivalist, the great modern revivalist of Buddhism. And Dharmapalji, the founder of Mahabodhi Society, was the greatest revivalist of international Buddhism. Buddhism in India, Buddhism in Sri Lanka, in other country also, he contributed greatly. So today, we have been very fortunate to see the family members and associates of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, and who have given very good information, very good knowledge about them, and we have been enlightened much. So on behalf of Mahabodhi Society, I express my gratitude on behalf to them, especially to the scholars, Mr. Reena Badri, Professor Anath Bandhu Chattopadhyay, and our present president, Dr. Mahendra Singh ji, and today the Shri Kiran Lama, who has started with today's program with invocation to the Buddha, and also a very good introduction about Shyamaprasad Mookherjee ji, and most venerable R. Sumithanand Thero, who is the head in charge of the Mahabodhi Society Sarnath Center. So this program has been quite successful today. So again, I can say, once again, repeatedly, I can say, Namo Buddhaya to all of them, and may they all get the blessings of the Buddha, and may they have enjoy good health. And so Mahabodhi Society, once again, on behalf of Mahabodhi Society, I wish them a good health, long life, and all they have, with the blessings of the Buddha, that they have contributed, all of them have contributed. I have seen, especially I have seen Dr. Justice Chittatosh Mookherjee conducting 3-4 governing body meetings. In one of the meetings, I remember that even Ashok Singhal was attending that meeting as a member, simple member. So he was great. And some 2-3 more meetings I had attended. So I have been also fortunate to see the members of Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. So I take myself as a fortunate member of Mahabodhi Society who have been in contact with them. So again, thank you so much all. May you attain, may you get or enjoy good health, prosperity, long life, and also wish that you receive the blessings of the Buddha, because you have contributed or you have greatly supported the cause of Buddhism. And I must thank most venerable P. Shivli Thero, our General Secretary, who has started these kind of activities for the last 2.5 years. And we are having Dhamma Sabhas, full moon days programs, especially the Buddhist related full moon day programs. And such programs, Ashutosh Mukherjee's talk on Ashutosh Mookherjee, Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee, and other dignitaries who have supported the cause of Buddhism. Thank you so much, sir. All of you. Thank you.
Namo
Thank you.
Buddhaya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I would like to close this webinar with a short mentioning by Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee on Buddha. Gautam Buddha gave to the world his message of love, peace, and understanding 2,500 years ago in a simple manner, which carried faith and conviction not only to the learned, but what is more, which carried hope and inspiration to the masses. They gave solace and strength to millions throughout the world. It needed no sword, no arms helped the spread of the doctrine to countries far and near. Dr. Shyamaprasad Mookherjee. With these few words, we close today's